It's the end of the month and your budget is flashing low power mode. You know that thing your phone does right before it dies? If that's your budget, let's fix it. Let's plug it back in and hit reset.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where practical frugality meets real life.
Are you having a bad budget month? We've all had them. We just had one.
Oh, yes, we did.
Which is why we thought we'd show you how we hit a reset button when all of a sudden we have money that flies out of our bank account. Some of the time we have no idea where it went, and other times we're like, all these things happened that caused us to have to spend money.
Yeah.
One of our sons went to the dentist, had this condition where his tooth was basically attacking itself from the inside out. So it was like an internal cavity. They had to do this very expensive treatment to try to fix it. Now he has to get a root canal. Week later, Larry goes to the dentist.
And they have to replace an existing crown. So here we go. Unexpected things happen all the time. And when they do, you have to be prepared to make adjustments.
Now, the first adjustment I made was banning anybody in the family from even driving by the dentist's office. Just bad karma there. Nobody even drive by the front of the office. But other than that, there are some things that you can do that will help you to regain control.
Yes. Maybe your messy month looks a lot different than ours. Maybe there's some things that happen that you actually can control. Let's say you went over on your grocery budget, or maybe you just got really busy and so you started ordering takeout, only you did it several times in the month and it adds up very quickly. These are all things you have control over and things that you can do something about.
Regardless of why it happened or how it happened, the first thing you have to do is figure out where the money went.
Yeah, what happened? What happened? Mm-hmm.
And other than our dental emergencies, what was it that caused this month's budget to look like it just completely spiraled out of control? Where did the money go? Now, sometimes this involves grabbing your online bank account and looking at where you spent the money, because a lot of times it spirals out of control when you're not making sure that you are tracking it as closely as you should be tracking it. Figure out what happened to the money. Once you figure out where was the money spent, you're going to look for patterns. What was it specifically that caused it to go over budget? Were you having bad day after bad day after bad day after bad day at work, and you decided that you would do a little bit of retail therapy? And one of the things that we always focus on is you can spiral into, oh no, I did it again. And you sort of start this self-deprecating thing, which drives you into further depression about it. So you generally wind up spending more money and you go deeper into a hole.
That's right.
This is something that you have to almost separate yourself emotionally from. If the overspend was something that you did, you just got to own it. Because by owning it, you say, I can change it. But by saying, oh, I just can't do anything different than what I already did, and my life is still going to be bad, my job's still going to be bad next month like it was this month, so I'm just going to keep doing it. Don't do that. Don't do self-blame, but do a more self-control and do take responsibility for where you overspent.
Sometimes it just has to be a little bit on the side of a lack of planning. Mm-hmm. Let's say you didn't meal plan, so your grocery budget went over because you weren't spending enough time planning that week for what you were going to do for each meal. So a little bit of planning can go a long way in saving your money, and maybe you need to get back to doing that.
Which leads us, so nicely into step 2, which is that once you know where the money went, you're going to come up with a plan for what you're going to do differently.
Yes.
Because you can't keep doing the same things over and over again expecting a different result. What behavior are you going to change that is going to come up with a different result? Now, in our case, who knew that, teeth were going to go bad all at once? In that case, you need to figure out where does the pit end? Exactly what is this going to cost us? This involves us probably calling our insurance company and saying, how much are you going to cover? How much are we going to have to pay? Then we figure out a plan to make sure that we have the money in hand in order to pay for these dental emergencies. Then, you know what? Because that may or may not come out of your emergency fund. you got to figure out how to pay your emergency fund back.
Yeah. And once you've done all that, in the case of our teeth, in case of my teeth, was there anything I could have done differently in the way that I brush or floss that could have prevented what happened? In my case, it wasn't. It was a decay problem underneath the crown. It's not where I even brush. So I couldn't have done anything to have made it any differently. But anything you can do to change it puts you in control and gives you the success you're looking for.
So you're going to write those things down. What am I going to do differently? You're not going to just think it in your head. You're going to write it down. This is what I will do differently for 30 days that is going to impact my overspending on groceries or my going for takeout or whatever it is that caused the problem in the first place. Now that involves, yes, it involves basically your goal setting. And let's just say you're watching and you're thinking, I'm just really bad at setting goals. I'm really bad at follow through. I don't know what I can do any differently. We've got some help for you. We have a free set of goal trackers. You're going to print these out, put these on your refrigerator, color in the progress that you're making. And believe it or not, by that one simple step, you have a far greater chance of reaching goals than if you don't have something that's in front of your face that is interactive, that you are crossing off and making sure that you do what you said you were going to do. They're free. We're going to make sure there's a link in the video description.
I'd like to just take a look at what Hope was talking about just before that, about the groceries. Now, if you want to save, let's say, $150 a month on groceries, if you attach a reason to that, let's say you want that money to go on vacation next year, that's going to be part of your vacation fund. That gives you motivation to do it. So with that goal plus motivation, now you've got a really good chance at reaching it.
We call that our so that statement.
Yes.
And we always say to add those to any goals. So you are going to spend $150 less each month for the next 6 months on groceries so that you can pay cash for that vacation next summer. He's absolutely right. That's your why. And when it gets really to be a drag, to not go for takeout or to figure out how you're going to spend less using the sales flyers or whatever it is you're doing, because it does get to be a drag after a while.
It does.
Then your why is going to be the reason that you stick with it.
Hope really wanted to do this point. This is a fun one.
Mini challenge time. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I am all about gamifying anything and everything in our life. Maybe it has to do with the fact that we had 4 children. And so I made everything fun for them. And we think that fixing your finances can be fun. Figure out a mini challenge. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to spend, let's say, significantly less on groceries. Can you hold yourself to that? Can I do a clean out the pantry challenge for the next 7 days and not even set foot in the grocery store?
Yes.
What is this mini challenge? It's like, you know those walkers that do you walk for a while and then you speed walk and then you run for 30 seconds and you go back to walking. That metered success is based on the fact that you have these bursts of speed in the middle. That's what these mini challenges are. They give you like this burst of confidence and you go, heck yeah, I can do this. I can do this for 7 days. And then you go on with the challenge, but it gives you that burst right in the middle.
You can do a weekend no-spend challenge. No-spend challenges are very popular, and that keeps you from spending extra money that you don't need to. Or you can do a cash-only challenge where you only spend cash on groceries and gas. Remember, when you're out of cash, you're done. You can't spend any more than what you have cash for.
You know what this is an example of? I came up with one idea for a mini challenge or 2. Larry came up with a couple of more. When you have a partner in this with you, it makes it so much easier.
It does.
Because you work off of each other and say, how many different ways can we come up with? Because sometimes it's not motivation that is the problem, it's momentum that is the problem. And when you come up with these mini challenge, that gives you the momentum that you need.
Another step you can take is to inventory your resources. You need to have a list of all the resources that you have available to you. That means having a list of what you have in your pantry. What do you have in your refrigerator? Just name all those items off. Maybe you have some bulk items that you can draw from, and you won't have to go to the store to buy things because there it is already at your own resource.
Here's another idea. Make a list of things that you can do this week that will take you 60 seconds or less. They're going to help you reach your goal. Sometimes reaching the goal isn't about the great big things that we do.
Yeah,
it's the culmination of all those
little
small little habits.
Yes.
They're going to help you to make sure that you continue moving forward. 60-second habits. Those are gold.
And what you have to do while you're doing all this is track what you do. You need to be able to know exactly what directions you're going and what progress you're making toward reaching those goals.
One of the things, I'm working with a registered dietitian right now because my weight loss had plateaued and she's helping me to get unstuck. One of the things she has me doing is taking photos of my meals and sending them to her. It seems like such a drag. I'm like, oh, I can't eat lunch because I got to go grab my camera and take a photo. But what it's teaching me is, first of all, like emotional and intellectual honesty about exactly what I really am eating because I'm sending this woman photos 3 times a day.
My gosh.
And it's also showing me how to make sure that that accountability is helping me to make progress. Because when I look at it and say, well, look, I put those 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, which is a whole lot of fat and a whole lot of calories on that piece of bread. Maybe tomorrow I won't do that. But it's helping me to filter through what my options are. It's also helping me to filter through this micro changes I can make. They're going to move the needle faster.
Once you've tracked everything, then you need to take a little time and look at those figures to evaluate what you're doing. How effective are these things working for you?
Now, just a really quick reminder here, little insert. You're not doing this for every single area of your budget. What we're doing is figuring out what happened with one really messy month, and we're fixing that, which may be 1 or 2 or 3 things at the most that you are tracking. So you're tracking these micro movements or these movements each week in up to 3 different categories. Then after 30 days, you're going to take a look and say, what did I do? Oh, here's what I wrote down. Here were my intentions. Did I actually follow through?
Yeah.
Did I do these things? Did I look at the sales flyers every week? Did I eat out of my pantry 5 out of 7 days a week? Did I only do takeout once a week instead of 2 or 3 times a week? Be honest and track how you did. And then you look at it and say, what did that do? Did it move the needle like I wanted it to? This is one of the things that we learned by doing challenges. We like to challenge ourselves monthly, and then we have quarterly challenges as well. And when we take a look at evaluating what we did, one of the things we do is we try to put data behind it. Nobody likes numbers, right? Actually, I do. But one of the people, if you like numbers, say I'm with you in the comment section. I am the numbers nerd. Not so much with him. He just wants to know, did we get results? Just give me the bottom line. I like to crunch those numbers, and I really like to try to attribute number value to habits. We did this. How did that help us? Because the worst thing in the world, guys, you don't want to be doing, 20 different habits, 3 of which are helping you and the other 17 are just keeping you still stagnant. You want to make sure that what you're doing is helping you to save more money, drop the bill, get back on track, whatever the goal is.
So part of your evaluation is, did I stick to my new goals? And what did I do that helped me in order to do that? Were there some challenges in there, some things that were presenting some issues, causing some problems, keeping you from getting there? That is all part of the evaluation process.
Let's just say you get done with the evaluation. You're like, I moved the needle, but it didn't move enough. We have been there so many times.
Oh, so many times.
And so then you go back to the drawing board and say, once again, do we need to implement some new things for the following month? What is it that we need to do in order to ensure that we're getting closer to the goal? Can we get closer to the goal? And one of the things that we learned, and because we did a challenge with our utility bills over the summer, And the goal was to drop the usage by 20% and the bills by 10%. Well, we dropped our usage by 22% and the bills went down 6 or 7% over
pretty close.
over a 5-month period.
Yeah.
And so we were close. And this makes you remember and understand that it's not about perfection, it's about progress.
That's
and
right.
for us, they had raised the supply rate by 50%. So reaching the goal we knew was going to be a steep curve in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to evaluate it in terms, you almost have to take emotion out of it. Because you can beat yourself up over, well, we didn't drop it as much as we had hoped we were going to drop it, therefore we failed. No, all of this is a learning experience. Now, I just mentioned that great big goal we had over the summer utility bill. That started out as a 90-day challenge, and we extended it a couple of extra months because we wanted to really experiment, see how well we could do. 90-day challenges are a little bit different than the 30-day challenge that we're kind of talking about right now. In a 90-day challenge, there are more moving parts and there are a little bit different things that you do. We did a whole video, kind of broke down that summer utility bill challenge and showed you what we did and how we tracked everything, tracked our progress. That video might be helpful next. Go take a look at it next. Have you ever had a bad? Just bad. You ever had bad?
It's bad.